We have a special event coming on, special episode for you guys. We are featuring two. I know you only see one of the gorgeous Dawn, but the lovely Thomas is trying to find his way back here, and he will come when Spirit says it's the right time. So hold your hats, he's coming. But tonight we are featuring two of the, there he is. We are featuring two of the incredible practitioners who are going to be part of our Embodied Power series. There's Thomas. Hey. Thomas meet Dawn. Dawn meet Thomas. Okay, there we go. Um, we have an event that Spirit Essence does twice a year. We do it on the summer solstice and we do it at the winter solstice. And we are having a whole month's worth, a whole month, all of June, babies, June 1st all the way to the 30th, of beautiful practitioners. I think we have over I'm going to say over 23 people coming in. Some are doing one talk, some are doing like one a week for the whole month. It's going to be fabulous. And it's inside Empowering Intuitive Souls. So I thought what we would do, my babies, is that we would have some of the speakers come on and do the spiritual view with us. So just so you guys know, that event that I'm talking about, that embodied power, is completely free. But here's the thing. There's always a but, right? Like always a but, and that's where people go, ugh. Registration is required so you can access all of the presentations, all of the conversations, teachings, and replays. Yes, it's in Empowering Intuitive Souls, but if you want the full experience, you're going to want to register for it. And Monica, my beautiful assistant, will add the link for that down below. So I am really and honestly so excited for this event. I just cannot stand it, and I'm so busy right now. I can't be in it the way I want to be. So this tonight is the start of me being in it, friends. And what I love about this series is that we are bringing together different perspectives, different healing styles, different life experiences, different ways people connect to healing, empowerment, transformation, body, mind, spirit, and la 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 la. So let's get to it, booze. Tonight we're joined by Thomas Johannes, and you will be presenting, Thomas, Discovering My Soul Song and Healing on June 13th at 1:30 p.m. And Dawn is going to be, hey, Dawn. Hey, Dawn. Dawn Netzel Hamilton will be presenting the Many Faces of Change on June 15th. Oh, 2 days apart at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, babies. I'll be in Vancouver, Canada. So, hey, now, instead of me doing giant formal introductions that make everybody uncomfortable for no reason whatsoever, I'm going to let both of you guys introduce yourselves naturally. So, Thomas, welcome to the Spiritual View, baby. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your work, maybe a little teaser about your presentation.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here. Yeah, I've been on my, this is like, I've only come into my own healing practice, I guess, for the past, in the past 2 years, but it's been developing as been moving along. But before that, I've been, my healing journey has taken me for the, I guess, better half of my adult life or more, last 30 years. and it's just learning little bits here and there, and then finally putting pieces together in a way that suits me, or the way that works, the way that I work. I took Reiki in the beginning, but it wasn't a match for me.
Okay, I need to interrupt you and say that I hear you with the Reiki. I love Reiki for other people. I did not love Reiki for me. I was like, oh yeah, no. And then I don't know if this is going to resonate with you, Thomas, but then I realized something. There are other people like Dawn who are like amazing Reiki practitioners. Why do I need to have to go take Reiki? It's not my forte. I'm a mother fluffing medium, and that's what I do, and I do it well. What am I doing? So I took myself out of there. But I'm glad I love the way you heal, Thomas. You are my Alice in Wonderland, going down the rabbit hole kind of healer, and I love that. So I'm glad you decided to take a different look at it and do what actually resonated with you.
Yes, yeah, thank you. I took psychic development courses, and they taught me different ways of how to use the gifts. And I knew that initially I started out by just zoning in, focusing on what chakras were out of alignment, so that I could just view at a person's system, see what chakras has the most stuff that needs to be worked on, and I can see that, and then I can see the stuff, and then eventually I'm like, if I want to be doing what's in best of the person, why do I need to just focus on the chakras? I'll just ask the general question: what's in the highest and best of this person to be healed, and then I'll see what's in that person's field that needs to be healed.
I say
And
do it simply and easily. Ask spirit. That's me. I'm the
yeah,
laziest medium you'll ever know. I'm like, oh yeah, no, spirit. There you go. So I love that. Thank you so much, Thomas. And I'm super excited that you are going to be. Well, no, you're not going to be. You're part of my collective. We have a group called the Spirit Essence Collective, and these are individuals that have different modalities and different ways to work. And we are in the midst of working with Indigenous communities and corporations and such and such. So I love you to the moon and back, Sarah. I'm going to let Dawn introduce herself. Let's go, Dawn.
Hi, my name is Dawn Hamilton. I'm going to call myself an energy worker. I started out with Reiki, and I took many different modalities of Reiki, but then I expanded into the Akashic Records. And as soon as that happened, everything started to shift and change for me in a very dramatic way. I now connect up into the galactics and bring forth lots of beautiful healing for my individual clients. And so it's been awesome being on this journey. It didn't happen overnight. It was step by step, which is always the best way to do it. And so learning how to communicate, learning how to receive, learning how to understand, and bring profound healing and change to my clients is one of my favorite things to do. So much so that I literally walked away from a 30-year career to do this full time. So,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, you girl. Yes. I've
Yeah.
done this full time for about 22 years now, like full time, right? Because this is what I do. This is what I know, and it works so well for me. I wanted to say something. Um, you're talking about Galactic and the Akashic Records, and again, I'm the laziest person when it comes to working with spirit. I'm like, Metatron, take me. I don't need to go down rabbit holes or out library windows. Just take me. But I don't dabble in it very much. I leave that the Akashic Records to individuals like yourself that practice it. And have the whole formula to it, right? I mean, literally for me, I just ask spirit and spirit tells me. But for you talking about the galactic with the healing and whatnot, and then Thomas coming in, when I said Alice in Wonderland, people, I'm not kidding. Like he takes you on a journey like no other. I was so relaxed, but I was listening the whole time. I did not fall asleep because he talks through the whole thing. Oh my god. Anyway, my point being here is that both of you have such different ways of working, and I'm excited to be able to uh, allow you guys some visibility in my world with my group of people that come and follow, and it's going to be very exciting to see what resonates with other people as well. So we are going to get right to it. Okay, let's transition into the questions. As I told everyone, and that, Thomas, I was telling this to Dawn, but if you follow the spiritual view, you know that this is a different kind of show. This is the one where my guests have no idea what we are going to be talking about. And the thing is we are not debating. I say that out loud to everyone. So if you're watching this, this is not a debate. We're not here to go at each other and try to prove that we're right and someone else is wrong. We ask a question and then we just chat about it and see what it kind of falls into. So I ask the question. Nobody knows the question beforehand. Sometimes I don't even know either. We just trust spirit and trust the flow and see where the conversation takes us. Again, no debating, no fighting, people. Everyone's going to be demure, right? We don't flip tables here. We're all good. So, Dawn, I'm actually going to start with you tonight, my friend, if that's okay with you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited.
Okay, here we go. And Thomas, you get to talk too. This isn't just
okay,
the question is based to Dawn, but this is all three of us chitter chattering, okay?
okay, good.
Okie dokie. Dawn. I feel like
Yes.
this is a game show. Okay. Dawn, do you believe people resist change because they're afraid of losing who they were, even when who they were is no longer serving them? I can say it
Abs-
again.
No, I followed exactly what you were saying. And yes, that is actually one of the big aspects that I work with people on is allowing themselves to let go of whether it be limiting thoughts or old beliefs or old coping skills that no longer serve where they're trying to go. And that those are all beautiful things that come up through the work that I do. So yes, I believe that people will sometimes like to throw the brakes on when it comes to trying to maneuver through change, which is why that's one of the things that I'm passionate about is helping people understand that change is okay. It's one of the constants in our life, and it's one of the things that the more we can be in flow with it, the less that we resist it, the easier it becomes for us.
You know, when I read this when I read it out loud to you, when I let it come through, first thing that came to me was identity attachment, and then comfort zones. Change is one of those things that we talk about all the time. I want to change something. As a matter of fact, in that session I just did with someone, I was like, "Baby girl, you've got to change this." Now, that's not up to me, right? It's in spirit. We give it. What she does with it is up to her. But it's one thing to say it. It's one thing to be like, "Oh, I need to change this. Oh, lordy, lordy, I need to change this," and then it's another thing to act on it, to take action. And I really feel that for a lot of us, that fear of uncertainty, like what that looks like on the other side when you take that action, is could be a deal breaker.
Yeah, I think that sometimes, our ego is so good at trying to keep us protected and safe. It has honed the skills, and we have learned through many different experiences how to listen to it, to stay protected, to stay safe. And we all define protection and safety different ways based upon where we're at and the experiences that we've had. So when we start to move into using change as a jumping off point for spiritual growth and understanding how far it can actually lead us and take us if we allow it to become a willing partner, it just begins to shift and change how we look at things. One of the you have you guys talked about the onion theory, the many different layers, and we're all trying to peel back the onion, and you never know if you're going to have a thick layer or a thin layer until you're to the end of it. When I also look at that, I also add a spiral to the top of that, because it's not uncommon for us to have the same experiences over and over and over again. And people are like, well, why am I stuck in the same experiences? Why does that keep happening? And one of the things I like to point out is every time we have another experience, it's another invitation. And we're starting to rise. We're using a spiral theory. So every time we come up with that perception, we're learning new things. And the higher we go, the more experiences, the more evolutions we have, then eventually that specific thing is no longer part of our purview. I
That
just said
is
a bunch of
so true. That
stuff.
onion story, yeah. I always think of the story. I'm like the chocolate cake, layered chocolate cake person. I'm like, oh yeah. And there's more icing and then there's a little bit less icing and whatever. And we always laugh about that. But Thomas, what's your thoughts about, um, when you're doing energy work with people? I'm a little bit resistant to talk about the word healing. I find that that word doesn't resonate with me the way it did when I first started this journey many, many, many moons ago. And I just want to put it out to the audience, the viewers here, that we are energy practitioners of some sort, whether I do it through my messages, whether Don does it through the Akashic Records, or Thomas does it through his personal form of energy work. We are not healers in terms of curing diseases and whatnot. Now, I know miracles happen and things do happen and do occur, but I want to be very clear in my space that we are energy practitioners and we shift and change energy. And what that does for you could be the cure you need, or it can be the comfort and ease that you need. And I just want to leave it at that. If anyone on the platform wants to add their personal belief structure in that, this is a good time to do it. And it looks like we're good. Dawn, did you want to say something?
Oh, I always want to say something. Thank you. Sorry, but I want to be respectful and let Thomas speak too. I look at healing as an invitation. it's an invitation to grow, to we plant seeds, right? Where we peel back the covers, we allow things to come to light that may not be in somebody's purview, and it's up to them to grab a hold of it and take it and do something with it. So that I just wanted to tag that on. So Thomas, I'm sorry I'm talking a lot.
Thomas, say something, anything. Tell us a story.
That's the story. It was interesting. Your first question to Don, I actually wrote. I was writing stuff about that very topic last night for myself.
Okay.
And I find yeah, we attach ourselves to our identity. Our identity is like who we were or how we grew up, our conditioning from our parents, the circles of friends, how their beliefs impact us. We're all attached to these ways of being. And all of a sudden, when we're going through change, these things are moving. The things that we want to move towards all of a sudden look like they're pushing those things away, or those things are going to start falling away. So that you're going to want to go back to kind of like say, okay, I've had enough of this. I don't want to lose what I had because that made me feel good, or I felt good, even though underneath it all, there are things that aren't working.
That's right. Your
Friendships
comfort
really
zone, right?
aren't your friendship. Yeah, you're comfortable, but the friendships aren't really they're not really your good friends, or the people who are telling you things who in your support system really are not, or they're kind of like being a little backhanded, or they're not really being supportive. So you're leaving that behind in an effort to move ahead. So then all of a sudden you're going to be like, okay, well, this is telling me I'm going to be getting rid of this or pushing this stuff away. I'm not safe anymore. How can I move ahead to what I want? If I'm going to be, if I'm going to be losing everything, how is that a good thing?
That's such a good point, because in the work that I do, we tend to stay in a comfort zone even when it's uncomfortable, because it's what we know. And we will always put what we know above what we don't know, what we're uncertain of. So now I'm going to throw another question at you two lovely souls. Do you think people know when they've outgrown something?
Not automatically. I think it takes a few bumps. I like to think of them as speed bumps in the road. We're slowing down for a reason, to reassess, to look, to move, to proceed with caution. And sometimes we're in the midst of things, and we're so attached to what you were calling the identity piece, that it's hard to maneuver through things. Thomas, I feel like I should invite you to pop in if you want.
Absolutely.
Speaking from my own experience, like with my previous career, um, it's one of those things where I was just fighting to stay in it and fighting to stay in it, and then finally now things aren't working out, and no matter how much I try to fight to stay in it, nothing's working out. It's just there's a lot of other things going on in the world that kind of create like scarcity in jobs and things like that. But then I went to a job fair, got some feedback, and then they said, "Yeah, your work is good. It's solid. You just need to do this." And then I'm like, I don't want to put the time. I don't have the time or energy to do that anymore. To put my time into this, I want to do something else now. Like and I was never even, as much as I wanted to do it as a part of a dream that I had for myself, I wasn't happy there. So I have love because of the creativity I got to explore and what I got to do, but it wasn't a fit for me. So I'm like, I'm ready to step away and try something new towards what is really fulfilling for me. So you got to hit your head, or you got to really, for me, I was struggling. I was up against this for a number of years. So it's not easy to break free of this stuff.
That is so true. And it makes me kind of think back to when I first transitioned. I used to be a bookkeeper. And when I started doing this work, a very good friend of mine, Lynn White, and another medium said to me, "Oh, you need to pick or choose. You cannot be a full-time mom, a full-time bookkeeper, and a full-time medium. So what you gonna do?" And there was that dis-ease in making the choice. Do I step away from a job, right, that wasn't feeding my soul, but was certainly allowing me to have vacations and some form of health coverage, et cetera, et cetera. Um, do I step away from that? And I just did it. I just did it, and I've never looked back. And that disease dissipated so quickly, like so quickly. And here I am now. Like we're talking 22, maybe even 20, like 5 years. I like not to age. I was 3 when I started doing this work, people. Um, but I'm at a place where and sorry, Don, you don't know me as well as maybe Thomas does. I'm a little brass, but I don't have any F's to give anymore. This is who I am, tattoos and all, and I do my work well. So I'm happy to be in this space, but I'm always ready for transition. But before we carry on to Thomas, I just want to say this is such a powerful conversation for me because healing and transformation really do ask us to look at ourselves differently sometimes, right? And Thomas, I feel like this topic really connects beautifully into the idea of like rediscovering parts of ourselves. So when we're talking about, so here's the question you're going to start off with, my boo. Ready?
Yep.
Of
Let's
course
go.
you are. Do you believe every person has a kind of soul song, like your words, or inner calling that life slowly tries to guide them back toward? So, a soul song, I took that from your your talk, and it's an inner calling, something that's always there, and that life kind of tries to draw us back to that. What do you
I,
think?
oh, for sure. I think that the longer you've been with stuff that isn't fulfilling, the more that this stuff starts to creep back. Like all in the quiet moments between, like, I'm not satisfied or I'm not happy with this relationship, anything. There's gonna be like, oh, I always wish I did that, or what about that hobby I always loved to do? Like all these little things. What's fun for me to do? What are these little? Oh, I wish I did that. Oh, I meant to do that, and always cutting yourself off. But in these moments, these are the things that speak to you, and that's when you got to say, okay, where do I go to find the people that I want to network with, or to communicate with, or get to know, who are into the stuff that I like to do? Where are you gonna go? So you do your research, you find out, sometimes if you want to take classes, you find the teacher, you just take little steps here and there, but but these things are there all the time. It's just life has caked everything on and it says those things aren't viable for us to pursue. Oh, you can't make money at those things. You gotta, if you're making, if it creates joy, it's worthwhile pursuing. So pursue it. You don't know what else it could be a part of.
And you know what? I just want to jump in here. When I started doing this work professionally, Spirit has never let me down. I've had some, slower times, but I have never, ever been let down. And I feel that's because I find the joy in the work I do, and people find the joy when they. Now, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, baby. I know that, and I don't profess to be otherwise, but I feel that this is a natural ability within me. I don't like calling them gifts because I don't feel this is gift. Everyone's a psychic, everyone's a medium. We can all tap in to a vibration if we choose to. Um, you know, patterns that we're taught come in the way. But I'd like to ask Dawn, if you don't mind, what do you feel about, when we're talking about this, our soul song? And first of all, I got to make sure I don't steal that from you, Thomas, because I freaking love that soul song stuff. But what do you think about this in terms of our authenticity?
I think that everybody has an opportunity to move forward, and some people are they have a little bit more, I'm going to call it fire in their belly to do so. And then there are some people who don't believe that they're worthy of it, right? Because that's a whole other piece that comes through. And as you kind of move through all the different phases of change, there are many different things that kind of spur that movement. And so I do believe that everybody has I'll say the phrase soul song, but there's something that we're all meant to do, right? And when we find it, we know it. When we're lucky enough to find it, we know it. And I like to think of it as a remembering. Because we all have the ability, like you were saying, Tara, we all have this ability to do this, but at what point are we going to feel that we're worthy enough that we can make these changes, that we can do these things to fulfill our souls in a way that allow us to feel safe and secure as we're doing it? And that's really the magic of what it is. And I find this work is definitely what works for me. So.
Emotional healing and self-expression is what comes to me when we talk about this hashtag soul song. Did I just give that a hashtag? I did. Hashtag soul song. Because we have to work, and then this is where I feel, and Thomas, I'd love to get your input on this. This is where I feel that a lot of mentors, that's mostly my work now, right? Is I do mentorships, helping people with their intuitive self, their mediumship, whatever it is that looks like. But I always focus on the higher self first, and I truly believe that people don't do that. They don't see that. They don't step into that energy. They are romanticizing the idea of being an intuitive or an energy practitioner or a medium, and they want to skip all the work. But emotional healing, in my view, is how you can be authentic. It's how you can express, that lived experience, which heightens your intuitive self and in turn allows you to trust the process with spirit. Because babies, I'll tell you, his spirit doesn't just come through and start, talking your ear off. And, loved ones just don't pop in and be like, hey, what's up? It's not like that. And I think people get the wrong idea because there's so many charlatans out there and people doing this for the wrong reasons. And I just want to say, I just want to ask Thomas, what do you think about that? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, emotional healing is really important. Actually, I think like authenticity, having the capability to see things clearly, and what I've tapped into myself recently is feeling clarity really coming from the heart center. And we need to have I feel like I'm trying to create a massive reframe where everything where we don't, that doesn't allow us to see the filters we put on the world. So the consciousness, if I had it written, I'd be able to say it easy. But when all these emotional layers that we put on are from our previous experiences, but we haven't unpacked them fully. So all of a sudden we just carry them with us, and then they color the world, and then color how we look at the world and how we treat others and all these things. But if we haven't gone through the process of unpacking and seeing why we are the way we are, and how we got there, we're still going to be that same person, and we won't be able to help anyone else. When we've unpacked it, we have the wisdom, and we don't have to be that person anymore. We're healed from that because we're not choosing it anymore. It's like, I was a young person and I took this to mean this, or this happened to me and I took this to mean this. But there's so much clarity, just to let go of the stuff once you've understood like what it's done for you or what it's doing. And
if I can interrupt, I think a lot of people are living who they had to become instead of who they actually are.
Mhm.
So they're in a space where they've been given cues and they've been given patterns that aren't theirs, right? But there's this aspect that Dawn kind of mentioned about returning to yourself, and for me, that word healing is isn't always becoming someone new, right? We talk about emotional healing. Oh, Kelly, love that, Thomas. So true, Kelly says. Um, it's sometimes, like Dawn said, it's just returning to yourself, like this right here. Any thoughts?
Yeah, we're always, our goal is to go back to the pure essence that we were when we were born and be an expression of that. But then our life has just created all these layers, and we take all these lessons and all these things that end up making our lives difficult for us. And then we have to
Oh,
unlearn them.
amen.
And then we have to unlearn that stuff, so we can get back to us being ourselves and being the best selves that we want to be and be the happiest selves.
Yeah, I'm going to pipe in real quick, and I'm going to invite everyone to look at, because we have so many different influences that help shape and mold us, right? Not only is it the experiences or the survival skills that we develop as children, but we have, like the influences from Hollywood that show, oh, this is how you're supposed to receive information and whatnot. But we also have in our DNA, in our genetics, we have certain things that are also either adding fuel to the fire, or they are inhibiting forward progression based upon decisions that have happened in the past too. So I agree with you, Thomas, in regards to it's about getting back to our essence. But I like to look at essence from a much higher perspective in regards to all about that oneness, working back to the fullness of what oneness really is, and that deep connection that we all have, and we can all feel and be in the same energy space with each other without communication. And it just allows, because we're all connected and we're all feeling and we're all moving and we're all jiving, kind of like the seaweed is responding to the water, right? And so it's just, I mean, we're all working on different, we're all saying the same thing, we're all moving in that direction, and it's so humbling to be able to be with like-minded folks who are looking at it from similar perspectives.
That was beautifully said, sister. Beautifully said. Michelle is saying, oh, I really get what you're saying, and having the clarity and ownership of how we are going to feel now instead of what we were told to feel.
Yeah, it takes courage to do that, right? And it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to recognize the patterns. It's not easy, especially when you're in the midst of change. Sometimes you're just trying to hold on for dear life and get through whatever it is that's going on. And you're just like, oh, and then hindsight becomes 2020, and you're like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand why I had that experience. Thank you. And sometimes it
Absolutely.
takes years to get to that point, right?
Oh, yeah. You know, it's that whole like takes 5 minutes to put on 5 pounds and takes 5 years to take it off, right? I mean, it's just that. So, yeah. And there was a comment in here, and I can't remember it exactly, but it was along the lines of, "It's so hard to unlearn." It's so hard. Yeah, unlearning is so much harder than learning what we shouldn't hold on to. And I think that's a bit of a catch 22 too, right? It is again goes back to that comfort, right? Staying in a place where you are uncomfortable because it is comfortable. It's such a strange place to be. So, on that note, I'd like to thank you both so much for being here tonight and for sharing your perspectives, your wisdom, your beautiful souls and your energy with everyone watching. And for those of you watching, this is exactly the energy behind the Embodied Power series. And we're calling it our Summer Solstice Edition. So they're different perspectives, right? Different modalities, different conversations. And they're all centered around, energy work, healing, empowerment, body, mind, spirit, I can name it all, transformation, and reconnecting back to self, right? Remembering. Again, this series runs throughout the month of June inside Empowering Intuitive Souls, which after all this is done, I'm going to pop over into Empowering Intuitive Souls and do a quick little chitter chatter. Thomas is presenting the Discovering My Soul song, hashtag soul song and healing, June 13th at 1:30 p.m. Dawn is presenting the Many Faces of Change, June 15th at 12 noon p.m. That sounded funny when I said it. And the event is completely free, friends, but registration is required so you can access all of the content and the replays. Monica will place the registration link into the comments again for you guys. And just before I go, I am going to be on the Awakening. Oh my goodness, this is such a long name. The Awakening of the Feminine Festival tomorrow. And join the Facebook group Temple of the Rose. I'll be on at 11. It's 20 minutes of more chitter chatter with me and the lovely Cindy who is hosting it. Come and join beautiful women being a part of that event too. So come and join us. Come explore. Come learn. Come connect, people. And I just, again, want to thank you both, Thomas and Dawn, so much for spending part of your evening with us here on The Spiritual View.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Oh, God. See, that's why I don't do it. Okay, so going back to this, Dawn, where can they find you?
Oh, okay. So you can find me at infiniteilluminations.org. And I'm in the Chicagoland area. So hopefully you guys can just find me there.
Yay, Thomas, how do we find you?
You can find me, I guess, Lightwalker333 at that's my Facebook page, or on Instagram or YouTube, Rumble. Yeah, that's where I am right now. And then I've got lightwalker333.wordpress.com.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, friends, I'm heading over to Empowering Intuitive Souls. Dawn and Thomas, have a blessed evening, and we'll talk very soon.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.